Alright, what's up guys? Bailey here. Today in this video, I'm going to be going over my UFC Fight Night Apex Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval. For this card, it actually looks pretty good. We got some talent on here, but forgive me if the analyzation of these fights are rather brief. Some of them are just boring. I'm just going to be honest with you. Sorry for not making a prediction card for UFC 323. Had finals. I was super bogged down with tests, so I literally had no time. I apologize about that. I wish there was something that could be done, but unfortunately can't turn back the clock now. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And yeah, let's get straight into it. For our first fight, we got Sean Sharaf versus Steven Asplin. Steven, I think, is the guy. He was like saying he'd suck Dana White's toes on the Contender series, so he's got that going for him. I'm going to be honest, it's pretty like dead even here. I mean, it's like, I know they got Steven as a huge favorite, as like minus 230, but with a 4-1 record compared to like a 6-1 record, it's really tough to sit here and say that the odds should be like this as a whole. I'm going to be real, even though I'm going to go Steven Asplin on this, I feel like it's going to be tough. Not tough in terms of like a war, like a bar fight, or like, you know, oh my God, cinema. No, but it is going to be a test. I mean, considering that this is his debut, he's going from Dana White's Contender series to now in the UFC. So nothing really too much to say. I got Steven Asplin here. Next. Oh, and by the way, a common thing you might see here, guys are making their debut, especially these Bellator dudes, and I can only resort to these shitty, semi-low quality photos of them because UFC doesn't have photos of them yet, apparently, even though it's on their website and everything. I couldn't use them. So yeah, we got Neil Magny versus Yaroslav Amazov, and I'm going to be honest, even though, I mean, fuck, they got Neil Magny as a plus 300 favorite. Meanwhile, they got Yaroslav minus 400. You know, I mean, he's 28-1. I'm going to have to go with Neil Magny. I'm going to go with Neil Magny. I really like his track record. I know that this might be just the fucking dumbest pick out there. I know you guys are like, dude, you're looking at the betting odds, you know, he's minus 400. I mean, dude, what are you doing? Listen, Neil Magny is probably one of the greatest fraud checkers and gatekeepers in any division for that matter. He's low-key kind of the GOAT when it comes to that kind of thing. So I'm going to go with Neil Magny. I won't be too surprised if he loses, but I'm going to go with the more experienced guy. I'm going to go with the guy who's fought more solid competition, and I'm just basing that on the fact that he's been in the UFC. And yeah, I got to go with Neil Magny, man. Next, we got Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. Amanda Lemos, right, former title challenger, fought Zhang Wei Li. Came up short, but has kind of been hanging in the top 5 ever since, kind of been floating around in that area. It's tough because I don't want to pick Amanda Lemos at this stage of her career, but I just feel like it's too big of a jump for Jillian to go from 10 to 5. Just lately, especially in women's MMA, with these bigger gaps and these bigger jumps in competition, it hasn't really been working out. I'm going to have to go with Amanda Lemos on this one. I just feel like it's going to go more in the favor of her. She's more experienced, more at a higher level. And on top of that, she hasn't lost as much. I mean, she's 16-8, right? I mean, like her KD, not that great, where Amanda's KD is a lot better. So I'm going to take Amanda Lemos off of the better KD ratio. We got Bobby King Green. I'm sorry. I can't face to call him King Green. I can't. You know, maybe it's the inner patriot in me. Maybe it's the inner American. And he's American. I love Bobby Green, but I can't call him King Green. And another thing I can't do is pick him to win this fight. No offense, but I just think Bobby Green at this point in his career, he needs to retire. You know, he's super chinny. His defense is severely lacking, and he's been getting knocked out real bad against guys like Jalen Turner, you know, Ruffy. Just, I mean, in brutal fashion. Lance Gibson Jr., I think, is going to knock out Bobby Green. He's got more power. He's more well-rounded just in terms of his wins and his finishing ability, as he has submissions and knockouts. Now, I know Bellator guys, they haven't been doing very good, and I think that's the theme of this card is Bellator guys making their way into the UFC. But I got to go with Lance Gibson Jr. on this one. Like I said, at this stage of Bobby Green's career, I'm afraid I can't. I'm sorry. We got Kennedy and Chukwu versus Marcus Almeida. Now, Kennedy's last fight, though, he did get submitted by Walter Walker with a heel hook. Marcus Almeida, or Marcus Buchecha is his nickname. I got to go with him. His submission game, his ground game is far better than Walter Walker. That might be a hot take, but dude's won like 16 Brazilian world titles, which is insane. He fought and competed and won. Also has submission wins in there as well. His boxing and his hands are solid enough to where he can create entries to go in for the blast double and just go in and work his submissions from there. Even though Kennedy is more experienced in terms of being in UFC and fighting at a higher level, if that's what you want to kind of go down, I don't think he's going to win, though. I don't. Especially his submission defense kind of sucks, especially because if you're fighting Walter Walker, you kind of have to know he's going to go for one thing, the heel hook, right? I mean, and I'm not saying that he's a one-trick pony or anything like that, but it's obvious what's working is working, right? And he's not going to try to fix something that's not broken. And I just feel like for that reason, I don't know if Kennedy's made any adjustments from his last fight. I got to go with Marcus Almeida. I feel like he's going to dominate him. I feel like he's going to just take him to the ground and really do whatever he wants with him, to be honest. So next, we got Maquizel Costa versus Morgan Sherrar. We got X Tentacion versus 6ix9ine in slightly different fonts, obviously. I got to go with Morgan Sherrar on this one. Costa's he is the better grappler in these ground exchanges if it does go to the ground. I got Costa on this one, or Costa. I'm like switching in between the pronunciations here, but I got Costa on this one for the ground exchanges, but he needs defense. He gets chinned quite a bit. He gets hit a lot, and Morgan's got volume and he's got power, and I feel like that when you're facing a guy like that, especially when he's really exclusively a grappler, like his on the feet, his striking game isn't as good as Morgan's. I feel like for that reason, Morgan will knock him out, or at the very least, it will be a very long fight for Costa. I feel like Morgan is going to take advantage of the fact that he's not as defensively sound. He's not as confident on the feet, and if he is, Morgan's going to be like, oh, you're feeling confident? Oh, okay. And he's going to go in there and he's going to do his thing. So I feel like Morgan's going to get the knockout, in my opinion, or like I said, at the very least, make it a very long night. All right, man. Yeah, so we got Cesar Almeida versus Cezary Alexandczyk. I think I'm going to have to go with Cezary Alexandczyk here. This one's a really weird case because you got Cesar, who has less fights in his record, obviously, but he's more experienced in fighting UFC competition. Then you have Cezary, where he has more fights in his career, but less experience fighting UFC competition. But I think I'm going to have to go with Cezary because he's more experienced. When you are 7-1 and you are fighting someone who is 16-3, we're talking almost triple, right? Like 5 away from triple. Let's say double. Let's just leave it at double, right? Double your wins. It's tough, right? Because your technique is going to have to make up for the skill gap. And if that doesn't work, your athleticism is going to have to make up for that skill gap. And if that doesn't work out, your IQ is going to, and if all these things are like falling through, it's going to be very, very tough to make up for the experience. Based off of that, I'm going to have to go with Cezary. And yeah. All right. For the co-main event, we got Giga Chikadze versus Kevin Vlahos. I actually think this is going to be a really, really good fight. I think we're going to get a very new, exciting featherweight in the division. Kevin Vlahos is super entertaining. His fight against John Silva in Dana White Contender Series was awesome. Ever since then, he's put on some pretty consistent performances, right? And even though he's lost a little bit here and there, like obviously he hasn't like had this very, very quick rise. He's got power. He packs real power, and he's equal in durability. With Giga, he is more experienced, obviously being the ranked opponent, being within the UFC rankings for a bit longer of a period of time, and he's the taller man. Giga stands at 6'1", I believe. That's kind of crazy. I think Kevin is going to get him out of there. I think he's going to knock him out. I think he's going to knock him out in the 3rd or 4th round, because even though Kevin does have power, it's power where it is also through volume, right? Where you feel, just an accumulation, and then boom, he cracks you with that one. I feel like he's going to knock Giga out. I just can't really choose him at this stage of his career. And this also kind of feels like a sacrifice of the old guys, right? Like the old fighting the young. I got to go with Kevin Vlahos. I think he's going to pick up the win. Next, man, for the main event, we got Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. This one is going to be a good fight. We got Brandon Royval coming off of his loss against Joshua Van, and in my opinion is definitely a contender for fight of the year. He's very, very durable. He's got a lot more length on him, and he's got way better boxing ability. Maybe the best in the division outside of Van himself. Then we got Manel Kape. Obviously, grappling is going to be where the advantage will lie for him. He is shorter, but that does result in shorter man speed. I feel like he can use those things. Now, Manel Kape is a minus 300 favorite, which is, that's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. That's a little crazy. But if Manel Kape wins this fight, I do believe that this would be lining him up for a title shot. But then we have Brandon Royval. I got to be honest with you. I don't think the odds really kind of reflect how like even this fight would be. I got to go with Brandon Royval. I'm going to go with Brandon Royval. I'm going to go with the bigger guy, the more durable guy. On top of that, the output, the cardio, the volume. I don't think Manel Kape is really equipped to handle that kind of pressure. And I know we're sitting here, and yeah, Brandon Royval lost to Joshua Van, but that was a very competitive fight. I mean, that was a war. And I think that if Brandon Royval kind of comes with that same mentality, then I think he is going to beat Manel Kape. But, and obviously there's a but with any of this, it depends on how he comes back. If he comes back, he's more timid and he's more like, he doesn't engage in the war, right? If he just doesn't go in the fire, then he will lose. And that is something we have to take into consideration, and I'm going to go with Royval. I'm going to go with the bigger guy, the guy with better cardio, better output, and his jiu-jitsu is underrated. His guard is underrated. I think we're all kind of forgetting that. And yeah. All right, guys, that is my prediction for UFC Fight Night Apex for Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. Let me know in the comments down below your predictions, what you guys think. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe. We're almost at 400 subscribers, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.